All right. Hello, my friend.
Hey, what's good? I'm on my phone like a good streamer.
What the
And
fuck?
like a good podcaster. And when I come on to podcasts, I also go on my phone. And when I go on to my friends' streams, I also go on my phone.
Because the friend streams are on your phone.
When I'm in my friend's stream, I'm on my phone.
Oh.
Because I'm a great friend.
What episode are we on?
Not 90. Four. I'm pretty sure 4. I think we can check. You wanna open the door? No, actually, you know what? We don't need to check. Do your thing, Zach.
All right. Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Uneducation Station podcast. Of course, it's your boy, Zach, with your other boy, Arthur.
Here.
Also known as Asian Boy, also known as Anuki, also known as, I don't remember. There's so many inside jokes. Like I realize that people who start watching the show now, as opposed to like,
I think people who watch the show, even in the beginning, will not understand. Because this is like a Discord thing. This is like a joke. This is like a middle school thing.
Asian Boy?
I would think so, yeah. At least AZN Boy. AZN Boy is like a RuneScape thing.
Yeah, that's true.
At least to me, at least. That's what I associate it with. Although AZN was like the way, the cool kid way, the swag letter S way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was that way of spelling Asian. AZN. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember there was this time when I played RuneScape with my cousin Lawrence, and he got me into spelling things like this because his name was Cowboy. You know how he spelled it?
How did he spell it?
Kaoboi. Cowboy. Cowboy. And that was the coolest thing in my mind at the time. I was like, that's so cool the way you did that. And I enjoy that. I will continue to spell certain things like that.
I feel like I remember back in like...
You know when you would replace like the A for a 4 or an S
Oh,
for
yeah.
a dollar sign. Some roller coaster letters, XX. That was a shit.
Bro, I feel like XXX Tentacion.
Tentacion.
He got his name from like MW2
Oh,
lobbies.
his rapper name. Rest in peace, by the way, Ja. His name is definitely an Xbox auto-generated name, which, by the way, is in of itself is a pretty gangster thing.
Bro, I remember those
Kush Slayer 42069 here on the beat.
Bring the beat in. I feel like those auto-generated names were so cool back in the day.
I think so. Did you have an auto-generated name?
No, I misspelled my name.
Oh, that's a cool thing too that we did, I think.
No, I misspelled it on accident.
Zach. What was it?
It was supposed to be Zack Attack, but
I remember. There was X's too. I remember that. Right?
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
X's.
And then
Like you just spelled it with a K? Instead of Zach?
I spelt it Zattack, Z-A-T-T-A-C-K.
Oh, it was attack.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you misspelled
Zadak.
it necessarily. I think it... No, just attack.
Zattack.
It's attack.
Dude, I was so bummed about that, and it was on my PlayStation Network account, so I couldn't change it.
Yeah, back in the day, you can't change your PlayStation ID. But you can make a free account whenever you want. Because PSN was free. You didn't have to pay for live. You do now. But in PS3 days, it was free. Didn't have to pay to go online.
Those were the days, dude.
That was probably the only PS3 selling point over the Xbox, is that it's free. Yeah.
And now it's not free, so nah.
I think it's... How much is it these days? 60?
Oh,
60
God.
a year?
Dude, I don't even know. Like, I stopped paying for PlayStation Network
Right.
many years ago. So.
Sure. Because PC is free. Yeah.
All I need to do is pay my internet.
Yeah. No, I don't. My parents need to do that.
Actually, same here, now that I think about it.
Until we move out, and then we realize, shit.
That's
But if we have PlayStation, we would have to do that and still pay for PlayStation.
and Xbox Live.
And Xbox. See,
Bad news bears.
Nintendo, you have to pay for that too as well, right? Or am I wrong?
Oh, God, I don't know. You have a Switch. You should tell me that.
I haven't touched my Switch since I bought it, Zach.
What the fuck?
Because I've been too lazy to set it up for stream. And
Bro, have you not been Animal Crossing it up?
I don't have Animal Crossing. I have Pokemon, but I haven't been playing it. So yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that there's a way to set it up so that you can. Oh, you know what? It might be like you could just plug it into your capture card.
Yeah, that's what it is. Just haven't done it yet. Because we haven't turned the AC off. Should we turn the AC off?
Fuck.
Honestly, it doesn't sound that bad. But then again, I can. You know what? This is a good test. So normally we have an AC on. You good, Zach?
Do you want me to turn it off?
You can turn it off, yeah. Okay. So normally we have an AC on because it's hot as shit in here in this room. Hence the reason why, oftentimes I recommend wearing shorts. Zachary's wearing a tank top. And I realized that whenever we have guests, we do not tell them. So when TJ came on, he came on with jeans, a shirt, a jacket. And I looked at him and I was like, oh, fuck. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Here's the problem, though, right? I'm a long sleeve type of guy these days.
Yeah.
Like in the past, I used to be, I mentioned this before, I'm a ball shorts, tank top, t-shirt type of guy, right?
Right.
In my high school days. Skater boy, I said, see you later, boy. Nowadays, I've enjoyed bundling up. I've enjoyed putting on a sweat on a shirt and a sweatshirt, and then my windbreaker over my sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And then wearing sweatpants because I still don't like jeans, but and I've enjoyed that life. I've enjoyed bundling up, and because of that, I think it's ruined my ability to handle the weather here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of the complete opposite, where I got so used to wearing like jeans and a t-shirt in like every and any weather. Like I don't remember if I sent you the Snapchat, but I took a Snapchat during that massive ice storm when it was like 15 degrees outside, and
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah, I was walking around in jeans and a t-shirt, and I was so comfy. Like I legit went over to my neighbor's house, had a conversation with one of my neighbors outside, and they were like super bundled up, and I was just wearing a t-shirt, and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm chilling."
Yeah,
bro.
it's not me anymore, unfortunately. Cannot do it. My blood has frozen. Or what? If which way would that be? Actually, it would be hotter. No, it would be colder. My blood is colder now.
Your internal body temperature.
My internal body temperature is cold now. And that's a life I've decided to live. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and you work in this office somehow.
And I work in this office somehow. Well, it's funny. There's a time, like I only got this heater, or not this heater, this AC unit, like during the podcast. So before it never existed, and I was totally fine. I've worn sweatshirts in here, and I've bundled up in here, so I was totally fine.
I was dying in the early episodes.
Yeah, well, because you have your temperature, you have your house temperatures lower than ours.
Yeah, I mean, my house is usually like 68 degrees.
Mm-hmm. Which, to be fair, I would consider that normal-ish. But I think ours is like maybe 70, mid-70-ish. Obviously not like 79. That would be bonkers. But around like 70, maybe 2, 3-ish, I mean, I don't really check very often. But I mean, even in Fahrenheit, just a couple degrees will change a lot. So
yeah, I mean, my room is the ice box basically. Like
that's good.
I have a similar type of AC unit in my room.
When you record, do you have your AC running?
Like videos and stuff?
Sure, streaming or videos.
Oh, yeah. I have it running like all the time.
Barely even hear it.
Probably because
yours all the way by the window though, right? You have a window unit?
Yeah.
Those aren't necessarily quieter, but I guess it is further away from where your setup is.
Right.
Because for those who don't know the landscape of Zach's room, it's a tunnel.
Basically, yeah.
It's a big tunnel, and on one end is the window, right? Well, I guess the first end is the door. You walk in. The other end is the window, so it's all the way over there. And your setup is around the middle-ish.
Yeah.
So you have a good amount of room. And although I would like to think that maybe my AC is about the same distance. Actually, no, probably not. It would be probably over there on that wall if it was relatively the same distance. My damn microphone still picks it up. But there's a reason for that. It's because I use a condenser microphone. And my condenser microphone, this is going to be boring to everybody, but my condenser microphone is on my left side and points to me. And if it's pointing to my face, it's also pointing to the AC unit. No rejection at all.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think
so
about that.
that doesn't help. So I've been thinking of going back to dynamic microphone life, although it would still point to this way. I could still direction it a little differently, perhaps, and it would be fine.
Yeah.
And dynamic microphones are usually good at these things. However, I've really enjoyed condenser microphone life. It's been a while, so I guess I always use the AT2020 for my streams, but I got the SM57. I was like, oh, I'll start using this for streams, but then I didn't because I got the MXL 990, and I was just having a blast. And this is gonna go past. Oh yeah, that's right. I did use a dynamic microphone at a time for a while. The RE320. Forgot about it. But for a while, I'm beginning to enjoy my condenser microphone life because, excuse me, I'm able to. Oh God, my nose. I'm able to just have my microphone this far away from me, and still be picked up pretty relatively nice.
Right.
Like I have my settings so perfect and my my compression so strong. And this also helps. Compression is also the reason why my AC gets picked up pretty well because my compression adds about another 30 decibels of gain.
30 decibels of gain. That's gnarly.
I think it's 30 decibels. I can't remember. It's a lot. And then I have my compression, my threshold down to like negative 27 or something. So it's literally just, I'm speaking into a box. That's how it works.
But it sounds good, though.
I know, it sounds great. I love a compressed sound. I know not a lot of people do, but I love compressed sound. I know there's obviously a lot of applications where you want that dynamic range, but for most things, like radio sounds, radio is heavily compressed.
Yeah.
I love radio, like talk shows and stuff. They sound fantastic because you don't need wavering you don't want wavering sound things. You want a very even sound that you can listen to that doesn't change too frequently. That sits in this one area, that boxy area.
You know, it's so fascinating because even with this...
I've gotten really into audio stuff. Have you noticed?
I couldn't tell.
Couldn't tell. This podcast damn ruined me. Before, all I used to do was plug my mic into voice meter. Now look at me.
Yeah, the first iteration of the podcast was with a Blue Yeti.
It was with the Blue Yeti.
God, that was...
No, well, this right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really fun time.
I think the actual first couple episodes of here, when we were filming into an audio interface, we were using voice meter. I think
we were using Audacity.
We were using Audacity, but I think I think we were piping into voice meter to do processing, because I didn't process audio. I don't think, or did I? I don't remember. I did something. It was really silly, but I remember we had voice meter installed, so we used it for something.
Yeah, but this was, I mean, we're talking before we even had this PC built to use for this show.
True.
That was on your MacBook.
MacBook. You're right. I guess we didn't. Never mind that. Maybe I'm high.
I'll be so high, walk around and never come down.
Anyways, how have you been, Zach?
I've been good, dude.
It's weird because we record every week, and for some reason, they feel like so long since the last recording.
Yeah.
To me, at least.
It's kind of funny because I feel like we don't hang out very often, but at the same time, I see you once a week, every week, and it's been like that for over a year.
Mm-hmm. So,
bro, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually getting kind of close to 2 years of unediting.
Oh, of Uned. Yeah, we're getting there, huh? We're definitely past over a year at this point. And I don't March, right? Or May.
May 17th was when we put out the first episode.
One of the M's. Okay. You're right. It was the 17th. I remember that.
But we probably started filming around this time because we had so many fucking episodes.
Oh, yeah. We had a ton of episodes. It has been, yeah.
We couldn't even talk about anything topical because it would be like 6 months before the episode
we
came
may
out.
hit episode 100 by then. Maybe.
That would be cool.
It would be very close. I don't think so. But if we do, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, we can kind of cheese it, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, we have been a long way. Anyways, so what's been going on in life? Oh, Zach, you see my hand?
What did you do?
Can we see my hand? So I went back to work for a couple days, just Monday, Tuesday. I think these are probably going to be my last days of Boba, because sometimes I would cover shifts for them. Because although I have officially quit for the Boba store that I worked at, hey, if we need an emergency cover or something like that, just let me know. I'm down. I'll come through. Because we're cool like that. It's not a dog eat dog corporation type thing. It's like a family.
Yeah.
At least in our store. Can't say the same for the management. Anyways, so yeah. But however, I'm starting to look full-time job now, so I can't really do that anymore. And then I punched a customer in the face, and now I don't work there anymore.
You're joking, right? Why do I feel like? Did you actually?
It's my last day. No, I didn't punch a customer in the face.
I was about to say
that's a bit too extreme.
you know,
you mean like just spitting a drink or something? Don't punch him in the face.
bro. You said that so deadpan. I was like, "There's no fucking way." Like,
I wouldn't punch someone in the face. Well, I punch a few people in the face
if they deserved it.
if they deserved it. No, so we had a bit of an issue. Not an issue, but it was just really funny. Some of our drinks like kind of froze over. It did freeze over. And not necessarily the drinks like after we made them, like the actual ingredients to make the drinks.
Yeah.
They just froze because the fridge was set a little too low and it ended up freezing overnight, which isn't a bad thing. It's fine. It's all good. It's just liquid. It's just water and tea. So just let it melt over time. And some of them didn't melt because some of them stayed in the fridge when they weren't being used, right? And they never got taken out. So, and I had to throw some of them out because there was a date of which we can use them for a good amount of time, and then they quote unquote expire. Not expire, but we just get rid of it so we can make a fresh batch, right?
Yeah.
So I was dumping them out, and because they were frozen, they were square containers, right? They're kind of rectangular containers, right? So if you're able to do it nicely, you can take it out and you just get just a block right out of the container. It's so cool. It's like a cup.
It's like a tea cube.
It's huge, and then you can pour shit in it. It's funny. Well, it's fragile on the top, but then it's really solid on the bottom. So I thought it was a great idea. Well, I took my friend who was working there, and then was like, "Hey, I'm gonna punch this block of ice." She's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, hold it for me." And I go, bam! It explodes everywhere. Crazy shit. Hella fun, right? That was fine. Totally fine. And then I'd do another one. And I said, okay, throw it up in the air this time.
Let me guess, you punched the solid fucking ice bit.
I don't know. Well, I might have. I don't know. I still busted it, though. So I'm like, bam! And I busted it. And it explodes everywhere. Great time. And I look at my hand and it's bleeding. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And it's bleeding in multiple areas. I'm like, what? Well, that's lame. So then I went to get a Band-Aid. And there are no Band-Aids. That's a health code violation. So I'm like, oh, well, shit. I'll just wear a glove. And I continued. This was when we were closing, by the way. We weren't open. We were well after close. So don't worry. We like to mess around and have some fun. But yeah, I will say, though, that's not a regular occurrence. But yeah, I think what happened was, because there's one obvious point right here on my ring finger where I definitely didn't hit my fucking knuckle. I hit this part, so that was just a bad punch. But then there's cuts everywhere else. So I guess when it exploded, it probably just cut me because they're just solid. It was basically glass. Like, it was hard.
Yeah.
Like, you could stab someone with it. Like, you could take it and go, and it wouldn't break. Like, it was literally just glass. It's like, damn. You know what would be a great idea? If I punched it.
You see this solid block of fucking ice? I want you to throw it up in the air, and I'm just gonna fucking Mike Tyson that
Zach,
shit.
I need to test my ability. It's been a while, Zach. I've been doing the jabs here and there, you know? I've been doing it, Zach. I've been doing the jabs. So I gotta test it. And it worked. And to be fair, it didn't hurt.
It just bled.
It just bled. But bleeding doesn't mean it hurts.
Yeah.
Bleeding means your body is a pussy.
Oh,
but your mind is not. Go ahead.
Speaking of bleeding and
so let's say, speaking of pussy.
Speaking of that,
the pussy.
So after this show, I realized I didn't even tell you about this.
Sure.
I have a doctor's appointment because I might need to get surgery on one of my toes.
On your toe?
Yeah.
Did you break it?
No. So basically what happened was my nail ended up splitting at a certain point, like right on the far, like
My
right,
worst nightmare.
right
yeah.
there, and it just ended up digging into the meat of my foot.
Right.
So, I tried to do a little bit of redneck surgery and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And it actually ended up getting infected, which is not good.
Yeah.
And so now I'm going to get it looked at today, and I'm hoping that they can just be like, I bet, numb my foot up and then just
I
fucking
bet
go
I'm
for
gonna
it.
snip this, take this pill, here, bite into this pillow, and pray to God.
Bro, I mean, that's how they used to do it before anesthesia.
Shit.
I
You
wonder.
mean in like 1740?
Yeah, actually. Bro, there was a guy that did.
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry. I just unlocked a memory. Go ahead.
So there was a guy, a doctor, who performed amputations pre-anesthesia.
This was it. Yeah, this is exactly what I was going to talk about.
Really?
Yep.
So he ended up doing it so fast, like he.
You want me to cut your toe off? Want me to see you do it again?
It's like.
Toe gone. Go by.
It's like that meme where you like unsheath and then resheath your sword super quick, and then the.
Arm just. All right, you're healed. Go. Leave my office.
So basically what ended up happening was he ended up doing it so fast that he ended up accidentally cutting his assistant, and they ended up dying from infection.
Damn.
The patient died,
Damn.
and then also someone else had a heart attack and died in the audience, because they used to do it in like auditoriums basically, where people would come and be like, oh, this is so cool. And, like, dude, the Victorian era was really fucked.
Hey now, entertainment's got to be entertainment. What the fuck are they gonna do, Zach? They don't got Pokemon. Come on now.
I mean,
What are they gonna do? They just a few years ago they were watching public executions.
no, they were still
They
watching.
were still watching public executions.
Right.
So this may as well just be a public execution, but with suspension. Is he gonna die? Who knows?
So yeah, he's the only doctor in the history of medicine to have a 300% mortality rate.
Nice. Well, for the audience, maybe not. The audience.
Dude, what a spectacle.
Not only did he kill people on stage, he killed one person in the audience. He didn't even touch them. That's crazy, Zach. That's skill.
He's a wizard.
He's a wizard, Harry. So the
It's
thing
good-
I was going to talk about amputation was, do you remember, we mentioned this before, America, the Story of Us?
Oh my God, yes.
The movie. So for those who don't know, I feel like this movie documentary thingamabob, or not really documentary, I guess, but like this kind of stage documentary thing.
It was like a docu-series type
Yeah.
thing.
It's like what's the word I'm looking for? There's a word for it. I forgot. It's like re-dramatization. It's like when they reenact. Reenactment. That word, Zach. That word. It's that, and they reenact some like just U.S. history things, right? As a name says, America, the Story of Us. Wow, that sentence was a struggle. So I remember this. I still remember this to this day. I don't remember shit from that, but I remember one thing, and they were talking about surgery being done, I think, in World War I or something like that. And they had a doctor, and so obviously this is like a rated PG-13 thing, so they're not going to show what's going down, but they did enough to imply what was about to go down, right? They set the scene, this dark, dreary room, this sketchy looking doctor, needle. Why do they do this? They don't need to do that.
Actually, they do need to do that.
Fuck you, Zach.
Fuck you.
And your facts. And like it's like they have like scissors and shit laid out on a table and scalpels and stuff, and then they go behind the curtain, and then there's blood splattering everywhere, and I damn lost my mind. Almost. And I remember in that classroom too, some people also lost, like they were like sitting down and they were feeling sick because, dude, we're like 13. This is fucked.
Bro, it's
I think because even people who watch horror movies, I think, or are okay with scary things, you can understand this. There's a difference between jump scare and atmospherical mood, tension, suspension horror shit.
Yeah.
Or it sets a stage.
I mean,
and you let your imagination hurt you.
Yeah, there's like an entire subgenre of horror that's
psychological horror.
Atmospheric. But yeah, I mean, okay, so the reason why they do the little is to get the bubbles out, because especially if you're doing an IV injection and you have air in there, then the air will cause a blood clot in your brain and you'll die. So that's why they do that.
Fucking nerd. Nerd.
I learned that from people who did not kill anybody.
Shit.
Fuck, that's no fun.
I bet the 300% guy didn't do that.
Bro, the 300% guy didn't even wash his hands in between patients.
You need to wash your hands when you're a certified doctor.
Yeah, but this was before they had a understanding of like infection and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And
they said, "Oh, you pain here. Don't worry. I'll just chop your leg off. No more pain there."
And then they died, and they're like, "What?
What? That's crazy.
What the fuck?
What? That wasn't even vital." I guess this guy was just too weak.
I guess this guy was just a bitch. No, you used the same scalpel for the last like 15 surgeries. Guy got fucking gangrene and died. Like, well, no That's shit. Tough. Jesus.
Anyway,
let's segue the fuck away from this.
Anyway, so. Oh, let's talk about the music thing I did.
Oh yeah,
I had a lot of fun. Yeah, yeah.
I just realized how funny this would be to like skip forward and be like.
So anyways, I will play guitar.
So I was playing my guitar. Anyways, tell us about playing your guitar.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't necessarily a story about how well or how good I am at playing this guitar, but it was more. Bless you. No, you're just yawning. Because my story is boring. Jesus Christ. Thank God there was compression there, because there wasn't any here. Fuck. Are you drinking muscle milk?
Maybe.
Good for you. But yeah, this isn't a story about necessarily me playing guitar and having a fun time playing guitar. It was a fun time, obviously, but really it was about having fun, like setting it up.
Yeah.
Because this was the first time I technically mic'd a guitar and mic'd an amp. So I've done two now. I've done two covers, or covers-ish, if you will. One was just me playing along with a Bocchi the Rock ending song, and that was fun. It was with What Is Wrong With is what the song is called, and that's a really fun one. Pretty simple song to play. It's going to be on my second Twitter. Actually, you may be able to find it on this Twitter. I don't know. But hopefully the audio isn't too loud. But anyways. There it is. Cool, you do have it. All I hear you're going to hear me? Yeah, we don't need to do that. But yeah, you can switch to my camera. So I'm not just speaking randomly. Okay, cool. So what was fun about this was just setting it up. First of all, the camera was a lot of fun. Finding a fun angle. Because I'll be honest, this angle right here with this table, it's kind of tough. Because it's really high up, so you can see underneath it.
Yeah.
And because you can see underneath it, underneath a table, as many of us know, is not the most appealing thing to look under.
Right.
Especially if you're of someone who does content things. There's cables. I have boxes under there. It's just not great. You see clamps and stuff. It's not fantastic. So I was able to get kind of this good separation and also have this little tiny light bleed right behind me, so that was pretty cool.
Oh dang it! I thought I was going to switch to the other side. It didn't.
What?
I thought when I switched to my camera, I was going to switch to the other side.
And then you did this, or you're going to point to it. You're going to point to it, Zach. No, because we're on the same side. We're in this together, Zach. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. The microphone, the craziest shit, Zach. The microphone I used was just the Zoom ZDM that we use for the podcast.
Yeah.
For as a guest. which are our lower quality microphones compared to the ones we're talking to right now.
Yeah.
And it sounds pretty good.
I mean, that's the fun thing is when you know how to mix,
Mm-hmm.
especially doing like a live mix like that.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I just took the windscreen off and I changed some of the dials, and honestly, as a mic guy, I'm a mic enjoyer first and foremost, right?
Mhm.
But I am an Asian at heart, and I cannot fault a good deal, right?
Those Zoom mics were a really fucking good deal.
Yeah, they were a great deal, and to be fair, they took a bit to get it to sound pretty good.
Yeah.
They took some processing. And that's subjective because audio processing is a subjective art.
Right.
But to get it to a point where both of us liked, it just wasn't going to come out like that raw. So we had to mess with it. Same thing still. However, the power of processing is pretty fun. Because as much as you think they're not, even studio recordings are processed. So,
Yeah.
it's going to happen. So when you do that, throw in the reverb, and you're like, all of a sudden, wow, this mic and this mic sound the same.
That's weird.
That's weird. And it's mostly in part with the reverb.
Yeah.
Because reverb, it's not true. Don't do it, Zach. It's not. I'm kidding. Go ahead. Do your thing, Zach.
Well, I was just
Do
going to
your
say,
joke.
well, it's not even a joke. It's more of just like if you even just add like the tiniest bit of reverb, it makes it so that like
Yep.
you can feel the space.
You can feel the space precisely. And what's key about reverb
space.
Okay. What's key about reverb in this scenario is that it eats away a lot of the minuscule sound things that you do to yourself, or the minuscule sound adjustments.
Yeah.
The minuscule EQing in these certain frequencies, just ever so slightly. Now, to an audio engineer, and even to me myself, I know that no, it's still there. It's still there. Don't freak out. It's you can still hear these things, and you can. But in a recording with instruments and reverb and this and that and this and that, no, you're not going to tell that much.
Yeah.
I mean, can I tell from a high quality, Neumann U87 studio recording versus a toner mic? Yeah, probably. Probably.
I would
yeah.
hope so.
I would hope so. I don't know. I mean, I think I would, but but would I tell the difference between like a really, really finely tuned AT2020 and one? Probably not. I'll be honest. So, I mean, in the grand scheme, like based on how many bells and whistles you get, and how clear and sharp some of these frequencies that the U87 can hit, then yeah, it is a fundamentally different microphone.
Right.
But when it's mixed into all these every single thing, every other thing,
Right.
it gets drowned out almost immediately. It's like you're building something, and there's 10 screws, and you say, "Fuck it, I'm too lazy. I'm gonna do 8 screws," and the thing still works.
That's crazy.
That's crazy because you didn't need all 10 screws, or you can have all 10 screws and it's fine. Or if you put all 10 screws and it works as intended and it's great.
So I
And
think
you put 6 screws in and it still works fine.
And then
it's a little wobbly.
I think the screws in a board to hold things like, let's say you're building a desk.
A desk.
The desk analogy.
All right.
So let's say you're building a desk and each of the legs requires 5 screws, right?
Mhm.
And you're like, I'm feeling a little bit lazy, and then you put 4 screws in each. And then it's like, okay, this is fine. But if you were to put one screw in each of the legs,
One screw. You're like, oh, I'm feeling a little lazy today. I'm sure this is fine.
and then, you decide to put all your anime figures and, all that shit on your desk.
And then suddenly you just walk past it and a category 7 storm hits.
Then that desk is fucked. That's a good way to talk about microphones because, like, it's really cool because I've been able to expose myself to a lot of different types of sound when it comes to microphones and everything like that, and like the Zoom mics and
Right.
the SM57. And I mean, I have one, but you know, the AT2020. You know, I've been able to just kind of like venture around a little bit and figure out what sound I like, and I'm still using the AT2020.
Yeah, I mean the AT20, excuse me, the AT2020 has its characteristic sound, and it sounds great. And also, I think if you, for like basically, I'm sorry, my nose is getting. Every time we record this podcast, Zach, my nose gets stuffy. Sorry, that was gross.
That was fucking.
Sorry, apologize. But I literally think for like 99% of people, the best microphone they're ever gonna buy is a Shure SM58. The dynamic microphone.
Yeah.
The handheld dynamic microphone. That sounds fantastic. It basically just sounds like a Shure SM7B.
I really want to get an SM58.
It's nice. I thought of it too. I mean, I have a 57 already, and I would get a, honestly, I would get a 58 if I didn't have this one, which is a microphone that my guitar tutor lent me, and I started using it, and I'm like, I like the sound. It's nice. I think I'm processing it a bit too much. I'll probably dial it down a bit, but I like the sound, and I'm gonna, since I'm doing some more cover things now, which I'll get back to, I'll probably test this microphone out. You know?
Yeah, dude. Honestly, when you sent me that video, that just made me want to do my own thing. And like I'm working on some stuff right now that I'm really excited to put up. But
care to share, or are you gonna?
I mean, I think I've talked about it on the show, but I've wanted to do Golden Hour.
Oh, that's right.
JVKE.
Did you mention it, or was that off camera?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
And I mean, at this point, yeah, it's such a pretty song, and
everyone knows that song.
Yeah,
everyone listens to radio. It's nice. It's a beautiful song.
Yeah, and I figured out a way with the help of a loop pedal to do it in one take and do it live.
Cool. That's fun.
So I spent hours trying to get the right take, and it's just so fucking hard. Oh, you know what? We did talk about this because we were talking about how, like, you know, I just need to come back to it and do it another time because, you know, that day just wasn't the day.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you just couldn't get the take.
Yeah. So there's that. And then I'm also working on writing some stuff, which is a lot of fun.
Yay.
I can't promise that it'll come out anytime soon.
Sure. But hey, we're getting there. You know?
Yeah.
I needed that jump too myself because, I mean, you know, finished watching Bocchi the Rock, you know.
Of course.
And then I read the manga.
Of course.
And I'm like, I want to play guitar. It's been so long. I pick up my Stratocaster, which, I mean, I mentioned I picked up my guitar recently, but it wasn't my electric. It was my acoustic. So my electric guitar, I literally haven't picked up since middle school.
Same strings.
I need to change them, but I'm too scared.
Why are you scared?
I don't know. I shouldn't be scared, but I'm scared. But I'll do it at some point. I need to.
Bro, you should do it under the supervision of Jackson. Jackson is a great supervisor as far as...
I'm sure. I know. I need to do it anyways because even I can tell it's bad. Like I have to just keep retuning it, and especially the low E. It's like it just keeps getting untuned, and if that thing is untuned, I can hear it really well.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, even in the recording, you can hear it, and I heard it in the back, and I was like, but it was a good take, so you know whatever. Yeah. I'm sure most people can't really tell, but I was like,
what makes a good take?
What makes a good take? Just a take that you're confident in. Some parts, there's a perfectionism in some studio recordings that may seem like it needs to happen, and for the most part, that's true.
Hello?
I realize this, Zach. We record on Wednesdays at noon, and this is when our garbage truck comes every week.
We should really change that.
Yeah, we should. Now that we don't have denoising, we should change your recording date.
Fuck.
So, but anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. For me, like, there's plenty of times where, I guess it depends on the situation. But for me, I think it's a take that you feel confident in. Because what's more important than perfection is how natural it is.
Yeah.
Because how perfect you get the take, like you want it to be perfect. You want this note to sound like this. You want at this point to not even be too sharp or too flat, just by the minute amounts. or something like that, right? Or I mean, if it's a studio recording, they can fix that, you know. But you want it right out of the box, right out of your mouth into the microphone. You want it perfect. You want to hit every single note, every single timing perfectly. But in reality, what's the difference from that and having some sort of robot sing it?
Right.
You know, you lost the character, and you lost the naturality. I mean, this is a guy who's played music for much less years than other people and has done near zero recordings, and this is a completely anecdotal opinion.
I mean,
So
it's pretty accurate.
Take my word for it. Take my word with a grain of salt, with the knowledge that I have that is minimal. But that's what I believe in. I believe that someone like Jay-Z, when he does recordings, he just goes in, he doesn't write, he just goes in and just starts rapping off the beat, and he says, "Yeah, that was good." And there's some times where, you know, there's some kind of, oh my God, I'm going to lose my mind with my nose. I'm sorry. But there's some points in time where you go into a recording and you can see it from like behind the scenes recording things or something like that. And yeah, they'll obviously, if they flub a word, yeah, let's restart it or whatever. But I mean, they may add some characteristics, like they'll say something and then go, oh, you know, or kind of add onomatopoeias or extra little texturings and stuff to fill in gaps and stuff. And you don't get that from writing it down. If you get that from writing it down, that's not, you know, you don't get that naturalness.
Yeah.
Like in an actor, for example, they have a script, but there's a lot of professionalism in that ad-libbing that gives it more character.
Yeah. And I mean, if you went into the studio, finished doing a track, and then you're like, all right, I'm going to go back and do all of the ad-lib stuff, and then you have a sheet of
paper.
I was going to say sheet of paper and piece of paper.
A shade of peeper.
a shad of peeper. But, you know, you're just like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
Oh, woo. You know, it's like there's no character to that. Or like, get it. It's just like, you know, there's no personality in that. And so if you're just in there having a grand old time, you're just like, woo! You know,
yeah, you're feeling yourself, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you have some alcohol in you. You know, you're just like, man, let's have a good time. Nobody is making a perfect track, Zach, under the influence. No one is hitting every single one of those damn 16th notes, Zach. Those 32th notes.
30-second notes.
32th.
32th. I get what you're saying, though. I mean, just
while holding a bottle of Henny.
Bro, just imagine being shit-faced and just going into a recording studio and just like being like, all right, that's a track. And then, you know, you listen back to it and you're like, oh my God, what have I done?
Imagine being shit-faced, go in the studio and then sober up and then do your take perfectly.
I mean, with the amount of focus that you need to be able to like do that kind of stuff, especially when you're recording, and you know, oh God, dude, I've been on stream when I've had a little bit too much alcohol.
Sure.
And you know, there's that level of focus that you need to have where you're like, I don't care if I'm shit-faced, I need to focus so that I don't get canceled.
Yeah, it's a very important. No matter how drunk you are, that singular brain cell is the strongest brain cell in you. Everything else has died, but this one brain cell. Do not say some dumb shit. Don't do it, Zach. Don't do it. Okay. Don't know. Promise me. Okay. I won't do it. Okay. Good. Okay. But
fuck it.
Shit. Oh God, Zach's on the bridge. Oh no. But anyway,
flip.
No. But what was a lot of fun, I found really challenging when we're doing this recording was reading, not just the lyrics but the chords, because honestly these chords were kind of hard. They weren't hard, but the shapes were hard.
Yeah,
and the shapes that I chose to do were really hard. But there were shapes like they weren't hard. I just used them because they were closer together, you know, and just made it, you know, as you do, right? It's easier. But they're really hard to hit. So there's just so much focus just being at different places, and I had to do so many takes. The amount of takes I did was incredible. So much so that I'm not proud of admitting. But doing that and reading reading the lyrics at the same time and reading the chords at the same time. I'm like, man. I mean, obviously, these are the things you want to practice, so you could just do it without reading or anything, you know.
Yeah.
But still, I'm like, fuck, man, it's hard. But I got through that. Miking an amp, so much fun. I got it basically first try, honestly.
Yeah.
Like to my understanding, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to change too much, but I'm just going to add more mid. Because usually in vocals, you remove some of the mid to give it more of a body. Kind of, I think often people call it warmth, but I think a warmth kind of more comes from. Actually, no, I think that's true. It kind of adds this nasaliness, but it also adds more kind of a depth when you add this V shape into the EQ, which is desirable by a lot of things, but not desirable by most. However, that's what I've chosen to do for vocal recordings. But I learned that a lot, like especially for acoustic guitars, you want a lot of mid in there, a lot of mids and highs in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, well, why don't I just crank the mids and give myself a little more highs, and it just worked. Add a little bit of reverb. It worked. Add a little reverb, not too much, just enough. And I was like, this sounds really good. And I tried for my first recording that I did that I was talking about with What's Wrong With You, or What Is Wrong With rather, which is the Bocchi the Rock ending. I did line in. So I took my guitar, plugged it in, other end, just plugged it right into the mixer.
Yeah.
And it didn't sound bad, but something about it did not sound
right.
I don't know what it was. No matter what I did to it, no matter what I did to the EQ, it just didn't sound great. Could this have been the cable? Because I was using my old Fender cable that wasn't working. I don't know. Could it be the settings I use for EQ? I don't know, but something about it, even with reverb, it just didn't sound right. It didn't sound bad, but there was just something not it. Something was not it. And I think it goes back to what I was saying before, where you hook a mic up to an amp, and the difference is a characteristic. Yeah. It's a personality.
You get the characteristic of the amp and the guitar at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And I think it translates a lot better than a direct zeros and ones into a mixer. Well, it's not. It's still analog, but in my mind, it feels robotic to do it this way.
Yeah.
I mean, unless obviously you run into a bunch of pedals and shit, and then you go into it, and then you give it some more personality. But just a guitar straight into a mixer, you've basically just lost every single bit of personality along the way, is what I've found. This is anecdotal again. And I could have totally done something wrong.
Well, I mean, also, you weren't trying to use any amp simulations or anything like that. Like the in your digital audio digital audio workstation, so like Pro Tools,
FL, Logic.
Yeah. So especially in Pro Tools, they have a ton of different plugins that you can get that are amp simulations. And so you can really work on what kind of sound you want just with the line in.
Yeah.
And then it adds that characteristic of the amp out, like digitally. And it's gone so far as to like a lot of studio producers, they don't even use mic'd amps anymore.
Sure.
Unless there's like a very specific amp sound that you want that they don't happen to have in a plugin or anything like that. You can find it anywhere.
Yeah, well, you get the absolute rawness of a guitar, and you can play it with that. You know, so that's the thing with what the engineers does, the producers do. It's what they do, right? And they would like the most rawest form. Like of getting an editor getting video footage that's shot in log.
Oh my god.
And 60 FPS or some bullshit, right? Or shooting in raw, like raw camera work, or something like that, right? Is what you want.
Have you ever shot in log?
I don't have a camera that can shoot in true log. I have my M6 has a log-esque profile that I put in, but all it does is just kill the saturation and it just turns all the dials down, basically. It's not true log. Because log is like an actual thing.
Bro.
Your R6 can do it.
My R6 can do it.
Well, I know it can do it.
Well, I figured you knew, but
yeah.
dude, shooting in log and then bringing all the colors back yourself, there's something just so magical about that.
Because it just gives you more flexibility. That's literally it. And you don't accidentally kill the exposure too much or anything like that. It's just perfect. So do you shoot like photos in log as well?
No, I just shoot in a neutral picture file or profile.
Which, to be fair, that's what you shouldn't do photography in log, to my understanding.
I have done it before.
I mean, you should not, but I don't think it's like to the same level of you should do it in videography as it is in photography.
Yeah, if you shoot in log with photos, it works and it's all right, but I would never extensively do it like that just because it is a ton of work to get that back. And you're not working with like 10 minutes of footage where you just need to dial in the settings once and then you're golden, especially for the stuff that like you and I do where it's a lot of like camera on tripod, us doing things. Like, that's entirely different from shooting pictures in different light levels and everything like that, where you have to go through and particularly like tweak little things about every single one of the pictures. And in like a neutral profile, it makes it so that you have a little bit more to work with, or like you have less to work with, but at the same time it gives you a better idea of what it's going to look like afterwards, as opposed to shooting in log where it just looks like you're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. Well, when you're shooting in when you're doing videography, post-production takes about, I would say, equal amounts to more of the workload in a production, more. Right? But in photography, the photography portion, like the actual production portion, quote unquote production, when you're shooting, is more of the meat. I mean, editing is takes time consuming, but as far as the meat, like what is the important part? They're equally important, but what is like the core part? The core point for videography, I would say all of them share equal parts. For photography, I would say the actual shooting portion is a strong point. The skill of the photographer is a strong point.
Yeah, and it also, it can vary so much. And as far as like the post production side of things, I think that ends up making up most of cinematography. Just because you can do so much with the same footage. Like there are so many different stories that you could tell, or so many different things that you could emphasize in the story that you're trying to tell, just by the way that it's edited, the way that it's color graded, different effects that you can add. Like I bring up Ben all the time because he's a great cinematographer. Like he does wedding videos and stuff. And, I've seen a bunch of the stuff that he's been working on, and, the ability to take so much and add it into your footage and make it so that the footage melds together really nicely. It could be about anything. Like, have you seen those B-roll videos of people making coffee and all of that kind of stuff?
Oh, they're fantastic.
Yeah, and so it's that same idea of like you can make anything interesting by the way that it's shot and the way that it's edited. Mostly about the way that it's edited, because you're an editor.
I agree. I'm biased, but I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely a piece of the puzzle, but in my eyes, I feel like it's the post-production is more important than the production, because if you edit it like shit, it doesn't matter how nice it's shot, then it's going to be kind of booty cheeks.
That's true. But at the same way, if it's shot like shit, your editor is going to kill you.
Right.
So in that point, I consider it equal points.
I think it'd be really fun if we combine forces, and like similar to the way that this show is set up, if we shot something together where like I was part of the production side of things and you were part of the post-production. We've done it before with like PC builds and that kind of stuff.
But you're directing it, so you're calling the shots.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
That would be really cool, just to kind of see what we could come up with together. Or if I just gave you a bunch of footage and I was like, good luck.
I mean, that's what my job is.
But dude, it's so funny because I think so fondly on like the PC builds and everything like that, just because, I mean, the footage that I gave you probably was not like the best, but it was still really funny, really interesting, and we were able to turn it into something really cool. I say we, I mean I was just cameraman.
No,
but
you did great. Without you, Zach, I would just be on a tripod.
yeah, that's true.
So don't undermine yourself. And you did all the shots, and you did all the zoom, you did all the effect zoomy boys, so I didn't have to do it in post, and I think those look way better than if I were to do it in post anyways. So it was great. It was a grand old time.
It's funny because when you do like the analog, like actually zooming in on the lens, you can see like the in between where it's not just like a jump cut to up close on your face. There's like that little.
Well, even if you zoom it in, there's still so much variable characteristics to it. Like if you scale it up in post, you still you lose so much. It's robotic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just one keyframe to another keyframe. I can ease it. I can do whatever I want, but no matter what I do, unless I change every single one of those keyframes frame by frame from this point to this point and make them characteristically different, and in doing so adds my own artistic personality touch to it, from one keyframe to another keyframe, just 2 keyframes, it's a robot move, Zach.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about with this characteristic thing, this personality thing. So if you're gonna do a zoomy boy with the lens, you have your own your personality into it.
Yeah.
And you can add that. If you didn't do that, then I would do it, and I would change keyframes around and have my personal touch to it.
Yeah.
In theory, at least, right? Otherwise, you go into a booth and you save words that you wrote on your phone or a paper to notes at certain intervals and pitches. Zach, you are a synthesizer.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it sounds kind of silly.
You're a MIDI piano.
Yeah, you think about just the way that sound works just fundamentally, because oh gosh, do I want to dive into like nerdy music theory stuff?
Oh man, do it, Zach. Fuck it. Fuck it. We've been lacking the Zach energy this episode. Let's hear it.
Zach's corner. Okay, so basically, every sound.
Yes. Every sound.
Every sound has basically the harmonic series is how sound travels, and basically, to explain it without explaining it, it's a bunch of notes stacked on top of each other. I think it goes like an octave and then a fifth and then a third, and then it just goes up and up and up and up and up. And basically that's how chords. God, I could totally be fucking wrong and just speaking out of my asshole, but
It's all good. As long as you disclaimer that, it's fine.
yeah. So I haven't taken a music theory class in probably like 4 years, so give me a break. So basically, the harmonic series is how all sounds and notes interact with each other. Garbage truck.
Garbage truck, yeah. This one's especially loud.
Yeah, what the fuck? So it's basically how all sounds and all individual notes interact with each other. And that's why you know, you play a chord on a piano and it sounds nice because those intervals interact with each other in the harmonic series. And so that's what, do you know what timbre is?
Timbre?
Yeah.
I know the word.
Or timbre. So basically it's the tonality of your voice. And so a lot of people have more bass to their voice, like me. And then there are some people that end up speaking a little bit further in their nose, and it's basically how
Me.
me today. So basically, it's the tonality and the way that sound kind of the way that your vocal cords interact with the rest of your face to make it so that when you sing a note, you're like, "Brr."
Okay.
And so when you're singing a specific note, basically the note that you're singing is resonating more than the rest of the harmonics that are above it or below it. And there's like an exercise that you can do. God, I don't know if I want to like try to figure it out.
Do you not want to?
Or
do you remember? Or do you even remember it?
I do. It's like if you sing a note and change the shape of your mouth, then you'll hear different notes that are on top of it. So like do you hear like the so that's basically the harmonics that are above and below the note that you're singing. And so there's this idea of just intonation, which is basically, I don't know if you know this, but every instrument that uses 12-tone equal temperament, where an octave, so that
yeah, that one.
So an octave is broken up into 12 equal parts. And so if you step outside of 12-tone equal temperament and go into just intonation, which is basically all of these intervals are perfectly in tune with the harmonic series, it is, it's so nice. And I'll have to, I mean, I could show you now, or I could just do it after we're done here. But
as in like a picture or a video? Yeah,
just like a video of like chords that are using 12-tone equal temperament.
Okay, well, go ahead. Let's see it.
All right. Okay.
Well, let's see it.
All right.
Yeah, I lack a lot of how do I say this, music theory when it gets really specific, because I was taught music theory. However, I was a 11, 12-year-old kid with fuck all better to do. So unfortunately, much detriment to my guitar tutor, my music tutor, I did not retain a lot of it. But a lot of it I did retain a good amount, but that's more in a subconscious level, in the sense that I know it. I just don't know anything specific. I don't know specific scales, but when I hear it, what if I need to play it, I can hear it. I can picture it in my mind. Whether I can execute it is more along the practice,
right?
Which I don't do, so that doesn't help either. Let's see what you got.
Okay, so
with My Freddy's Rewards, save up to $1 a gallon.
You're gonna keep playing. Just mute the ads, Zach.
Sorry.
We both just peaked the microphone.
Okay.
Who's this guy?
So this guy, Science Time. He
maybe you should put the video up, Zach.
I'm working on it. I'm trying to.
No, you're not. You didn't click the button.
Yeah, I know. I haven't clicked the button.
There you go. Cool.
Because I had to. Okay. So this is basically just an explanation of.
In the music department, and we're gonna try out this very interesting piano that can do some cool
Science
stuff
and
for
Me.
us.
Shout out.
I'll start off by playing the chord of C major.
Okay.
And then I'll play the chord of C sharp major.
So that's in equal temperament.
If you listen very carefully, you'll actually be able to hear a beat frequency in the background.
Thank you. It's like a resonance to it.
Yeah.
Now we can actually fix that up and remove the beat frequency by switching over from an equal tempered scale to a pure tempered scale. Can you hear the difference?
Did you change a mode? Wait, what did you change? Wait, what button? Oh, I can hear it, but what is he changing?
So basically,
There's a problem with this, though.
I hope that's
You
not
still
too
have
loud
to
in the thing.
Oh, I hope not. So basically, what he's doing is he is changing the intonation of each of the notes when they interact with each other.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense as to what he was pressing, because I was figuring out like what was he clicking to to do something.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
But it's a really, really fascinating idea. And I mean, I could sit here and talk about this all day if I wanted to.
Sure.
But it's just one of those really cool fundamental ideas that once you start to experiment with it more, and realize that, you know, the world is your oyster basically. And if you play guitar in an open tuning, what you could do is you could tune it so that the intervals, like, so a major third is, oh gosh, I think
He picks up his glasses. A major.
So a major third, that interval is, I think, 14 cents sharp.
Is that what the fuck you just call me, little shit?
So
The fuck you say to me, little shit?
So I think it's I don't remember the difference between hertz and cents, but like it's too high, basically.
Too high.
And so if you lower it a little bit, then it just sounds really pretty and like.
Sure. So essentially you're just turning notes into numerical values within a scale. Is that what you're saying?
So in
As in, like, C from C to C sharp is 14. What did you say?
14 cents.
Cents, like cents up.
So no, okay, hang on. So basically,
Perhaps now I'm thinking hertz.
yeah. So
I think I'm thinking hertz now.
So when you think of cents, that's basically
Like CENTS.
yeah.
Okay.
So people use cents for intonation.
So I was gonna say for buying things. Sorry, I apologize.
People don't buy anything with cents anymore. It's been a very long
It
time.
has been a very long time.
So yeah,
Actually, that's not true, Zach. A lot of people have a lot of quarters and a lot of pennies.
you're like, don't ask me why.
Don't ask me why I know that.
So basically, people use cents. It's like what you would see on a tuner.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, okay, sure.
yeah. So basically, with the context of, oh gosh. Okay, so
No, it's okay. You got it.
so with the context of like making the interval, like making a major third the most in tune that it could possibly be, the way that it is in the harmonic series, then you would have to lower, so like say a C major triad, C, E, G. So you would have to lower the E a little bit to make it so that it would be perfectly in tune. And that's basically what you heard. You heard a, like the 12-tone equal temperament version of a C major chord. And then you heard the perfectly in tune version of that chord. And
Yeah.
and also I think the G would be like 2 cents
Sure.
sharp or something
Okay,
like that.
that makes sense. Okay. It makes sense. Sorry, I apologize. I needed to break the nerdy atmosphere a little bit, but that does make sense. I like that. And because if it wasn't 12-tone temperament, right?
Yeah.
Is that the word I said?
12-tone equal temperament.
12-tone equal temperament. Then those notes would resonate. But so to remove that resonance, they're resonating because they're interacting with each other in a certain way. So to remove that, you would have to slightly sharp or slightly flat one another.
Yeah.
So that way you remove it as much as possible. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
so
good. That's good.
It's basically
You did good job, Zach. You explained to me, dumb boy, man.
so moving from 12-tone equal temperament to just intonation, you are adjusting the intonation of each of the notes to make it so that they match what you would hear in the harmonics of things.
Sure.
And yeah, it's a really hard thing to explain in a digestible way.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole like it's basically a class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a day or two.
And I didn't even learn this when I was taking music theory. Like,
shit.
you know, they taught a lot about like chord structures and that kind of stuff in
Sure.
music theory, and like a lot of like the why you would do certain things. And then I learned about this guy named Jacob Collier, which I'm sure I've told you about.
Well, you've told the podcast about.
And I've told the podcast about. So once I started listening to his music, and he's done like TED Talks and you know, classes all around the world, just explaining how he can take all of the rules of music and break them, and then turn it into just some really gnarly music that you wouldn't think would have such complicated music theory behind it, which is really cool. And that's one of the things that reinvigorated that passion for music for me, because it made me realize that, you know, you can do so much to make it your own, and then basically you can take all the rules, the music theory rules, and say fuck you to those rules, and just do what sounds good, or do what you think sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, music theory is more of a guideline, or it's more of like I'm going to use this term loosely, but just a scientific way to write down. Okay. To
There are so many noises.
There's a lot of things happening. Do we have the sign? We don't have the sign, Zach, that says we're recording.
Fuck.
Not that does fuck all anyways. But it's basically just a way to, for example, put it on paper. Like, for example, if I were, like, it's a way for me to have a song and have all the dynamics and everything that could happen in this song on paper. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you know, what do we learn from Your Lie in April? You know, the arrangement does not rule everything. It's
Right.
about the player, right?
Right.
The arrangement is there as a guideline. Zach, if you play the arrangement perfectly, then what is that any different to a robot? You see this theme we keep coming back to, Zach? About personality
Yes. And characteristic.
and charismaticism.
Charismasochism.
I have that one. You know, it's all these things that you don't necessarily need to follow, but it's like they have to be there. Like they can't not be there. But they're there. So you could look at it. Like tab, for instance, is like the most bare bones like guideline to reading a guitar piece. Or a guitar melody piece.
Do you want to know something really interesting that I learned?
What's interesting?
So in the Baroque period, when they first started...
What is the Baroque period?
So the Baroque period was like right before, or it was before the Victorian era.
Okay.
So like 1500s, 1600s, that kind of timeline. So basically, obviously they didn't have like a regular acoustic guitar, but they had the early versions of the guitar. And basically what they would do is they would write all of the music, so they would give you what to tune all of the strings to, and they wrote all of the music for those instruments in tablature. So basically, you know, they didn't use sheet music for guitar. And even in classical guitars, when they first were being used, they used tablature. So it's really fascinating that we're still using the same shit.
Yeah, I think tab is just kind of a thing that works, especially
Well,
for
yeah.
you know, lead and melody and stuff. It just makes a lot more sense, especially if you're someone who just knows the fretboard. You see 13, I go to 13.
Yeah.
You see 2, I go to 2. I know it. I look at it. You know, I mean, I don't know it anymore, but like I just be like, oh, yeah, right here. I don't even need to look at it.
Yeah.
I feel the bumps. I feel the bumps as my fingers go up, and I know this is where I need to be at. Something like that, right? You just know. So, to be fair though, especially even when I went into jazz band, my tutor had taught me to read sheet music. So funny enough, I actually knew sheet music better than I knew tab. But even then, like before then, tab just made way more sense to me. Before I learned sheet music, of course, but it just made way more sense to me when playing guitar. And I begun to realize that when I started learning Bocchi the Rock songs, and they're just in tab. Who the fuck is gonna put them in sheet music? Why do you need to?
Yeah, I mean, for most guitar players, they're probably either gonna want a chord sheet or tab.
What happens when you use sheet music for a guitar melody? What happens?
I mean, you're able to see like the dynamics and
Yes.
like a lot of that kind of stuff
But why is it not important?
because you are not Mr. Roboto.
Because you're not Mr. Roboto. Because when you go up in the studio or the stage with your guitar and you start slamming the lead or the melody or whatever, and you start rocking out, you're not even looking at the sheet anymore.
Bocchi the rocking out.
You're Bocchi the rocking out. You don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
You're playing what your heart wants to play. I don't know, fuck no dynamic. I mean, maybe, okay, make this crescendo this part. Okay, good, sure thing, boss. That's it. You know? You sit there, you go, you jam with the bassist and the drummer, and you just do music.
Do things.
Do
and
things.
Stuff. And I love playing live. Like, playing live is one of my favorite things in the world. Just because it's like, it's so pure. Like, that moment will never happen again. And, I mean, people will take videos and all that kind of stuff, but it's one of those things where it's like, you had to be there, man. Like,
Yeah.
That sounds really dumb, but it's like, oh, you had to be there, man. But it's true. Like, every single performance I've ever done has been like the best times of my life, because it's like, you know, you're a part of something that, you know, it's magical because it's temporary.
You know, it's really poetic, Zach. We
What?
talked about this in the first podcast when we sat on that couch. This idea of aura. Don't know if you remember this. It's okay. If
Of
you
course I do.
don't. Okay. It's this idea that I learned in one of my classes. And it's a very basic idea. It's just simply this app. Like, I'm not really a type of person who believes in, like, you know, things like chakra and shit. You know what I mean? Like spiritual energy. I mean, I am Buddhist, so to an extent I do.
Right.
But as far as things are concerned, I'm a pretty grounded guy in general. Right. I believe in science. You know? But this idea of not everything can be explained with science, in the sense that there's just a lot of ways to just interpret it in these type of spiritual ways, such as aura, such as you go to this live event and you're within this aura that is being, you know, physically played through amps, sure, but the charisma of the players and the singers and the vocalists and all that, and the audience around you, you really had to be there.
Right.
Like, you had to. If you don't have that and you're watching a video that your friend showed you of them when they were there, it's literally not the same. I mean, has been, I mean, you know, you go on YouTube and you watch live performances and they're fun, right? Obviously. Yeah. But that will never, ever, ever compare to the real thing. So it's just there's a lot of, oh man, this is so odd, but the way, okay, gotta say it because I'm so in love with this anime right now, Bocchi the Rock, right? The way that they make you love the live performances so much is simply because of the anime that surrounds it. So the aura comes from, I feel like a fucking crackhead talking about aura. But the aura this time around comes from your relationships with the characters and their relationships with each other and their hardships and their understanding of the world and life and together and fighting through I can say the word again, the hardships of a start out band in a lowly like nightclub, star club thing, you know, and trying to make yourself out there, and you feel that when the first performance comes and the second performance comes, and every part of it is so nice. And the same thing with Your Lie in April. I think the best way would just be, imagine it sounds cheesy every time, but in Your Lie in April, when everyone's like dialoguing between like during the performances. You basically, I mean, you don't really do that. Like, oh, he's doing this because he's feeling this way about this and that. You don't really do that.
Yeah.
You don't like actually mentalize this dialogue playing around, but you feel it.
Right.
You feel the energy that's going around, and it's as if it's all that dialogue thing that Your Light in April was doing. All it was doing was kind of, I don't want to say personifying, that's not the right word, but that idea of giving this not really tangible thing called aura a representation.
Yeah. Contextualizing
basically
what it would feel like to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really cool. That is an amazing feeling to either be the person that's on stage or be one of the people sitting in the audience.
Just being there.
Yeah. You had to be there, man.
You had to be there, man. It was so cool. He like threw his guitar, hit some chick in the head, she died. It was crazy.
Bro, it was wild. And then some random guy took the guitar
and then ate it. And then he died. And then this other guy who was a doctor and he performed double CPR.
CCPPR.
It's oh man, I watched this video just recently and it made me love Bocchi the Rock even more. I know, I'm so sorry. Arthur, stop talking about Bocchi the Rock. I can't stop talking about Bocchi the Rock, Zach. I can't do it. I can't not do it. It's just so here's one of my last pieces of why I love it so much, right?
This isn't going to be the last.
It's not going to be the last, but here's a really important one. So I think I don't think you know the band, but I mentioned them a few times and I've played their songs with you around with them sometimes. But they're called Asian Generation or Asian Kung Fu Generation.
Yeah.
Right? They did Erased opening.
Yeah. I know that.
Yeah, that one, right? They've done a Naruto song, but they're super popular. They're like one of the most, I would say probably the most popular just J-rock band. They're my favorite J-rock band, and they're incredible. And Bocchi the Rock was literally just one huge love letter to them. I didn't realize this until I found this video literally yesterday. It was yesterday, Zach. I watched this video of this guy doing like a mini video essay. I love video essays.
I fucking love video essays, bro.
It's only like 5 minutes. It's a good watch. It's a good watch. Maybe watch it after you end up, if you ever watch Bocchi the Rock, I don't know. Maybe watch it afterwards. But it's like all the four girls, they share the same name as the band members. They play the same instruments as the band members. Every single one of the episodes are callbacks to their songs. Every single episode names are callbacks to their own songs. To Asian, as you can. I'm just gonna call it as you can. That's their abbreviation. And one of the final songs they play is a cover of their song.
Oh, that's so cool.
Morning Rock and Roll, something like that. And it's my favorite song from them, even before I knew that. And I learned to play it as well. And during the final credits roll, they had special thanks to Asian Kung Fu Generation. And I was like, oh man, I love that so much. And they did and also in the manga, they have a lot of like kind of art panels, I guess. Like it's hard to explain, but in 4 koma basically means 1, 2, 3, 4 panels, 4 comic panels, I guess. I don't know what abbreviation that would be. So it's a very basic slice of life format where it's just 1, 2, 3, 4 panels, 1, 2, 3, 4 panels in one page as you read it up down. It's a little hard to explain, but you get to the groove of it as you keep going, and it's very casual. You only get, imagine Vine, right? You get 7 seconds. You get 4 panels for just whatever punchline or dialogue or whatever it is. You get 4 panels for it. So there's introduction, setup, punchline, and then straight man. Shut up, dumbass, that thing. My favorite type of humor. And in the beginning of a lot of them, they would have, like for the first page, instead of 4, it would be 2 panels, and then the top section of the page is some sort of art thing, like a cover, like a chapter art thing or whatever. And a lot of them are actually, what in the manga. I'm trying my best to turn this into words because I'm just thinking about it now. Are references to other albums and stuff. including an Asian Kung Fu generation. So they'll have the girls, and they'll be in attire or in a formation or whatever to music videos and stuff. It's so cool. It's such a great anime. It's a great show. It's a great series of and great manga for just music lovers.
Yeah.
Everything about it. It's just such for live performance, for everything. It nails every little thing, and it's so nice. I even watched this one video where this worship worship leader that where he broke down a performance from Bocchi the Rock. You're like, well, this is fucking great. And sometimes you think about that, right? And you're like, oh, what the fuck is he gonna say? He's gonna say this anime is weird or whatever, blah blah, or even maybe he likes anime, but he says some like basic things or whatever. But no, he talked about all these extra things about supporting your band members and this and when to do this and when to do that, how they got this right, making icon, all these. I'll link you this video. It's a great video to watch. Well, I don't know. Maybe you should watch it after if you ever watch the anime. But God, why is this one so? Was this like your 5th round, man?
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Anyways, because Your Lie in April was fantastic music anime, right?
So good.
Fantastic. K-On! You haven't watched it yet. Fantastic music anime. I don't know how many references they do, but I don't think it's a lot. Bocchi the Rock is literally just the amalgamation of just someone's love for music. One mangaka's love for rock music. And it's fantastic. And you feel that. You really love that. And it makes me really happy. So, yeah. Another Bocchi the Rock. The reason why I dislike talking about Bocchi the Rock so much is because I'm doing the thing where I'm overhyping something.
Yeah.
And that's my fault to continue doing so. And I don't mean to say too overhype, but that's just what happens innately or inherently. So when I say these things about Bocchi the Rock, I want everybody to understand that what I get from Bocchi the Rock is going to be completely different from what you guys get from Bocchi the Rock, because it's a slice of life. That's the point.
Right.
You watch it and you don't realize it's a slice of life because this is probably some people's first slice of life in this genre. Technically, slice of life is a bigger, broader genre. Your Lie in April could be considered a slice of life, more of a drama, but a slice of life in a way. But this slice of life is a cute girls doing cute things slice of life, where it's
as the name
cute,
suggests. Yeah.
As the name suggests, cute girls doing cute things. Cute girls who join a fishing club, who join an astrology geometry club, who play music every now and then, but mostly just drink tea and eat cake after school. That's all this genre is, and it's all it needs to be.
Right.
So it's up to you to kind of just watch it and take it and interpret it and just take whatever you want from it. Take the high points, take the low points, whatever you want to take from it. And that's the joy of this genre that I love so much. Maybe it's because I'm a pretentious asshole, but I just love things that are symbolic.
I mean, also
interpretive.
Yes. Yeah, and also you got to think about it from the perspective of like seeing a representation of something that you really enjoy is super fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And it's invigorating in a way that not a lot of other things are. It's like you take your love for music and it's personified in cute girls doing cute things, but
mm-hmm.
also playing music and loving what they're doing
mm-hmm.
in a similar way that you love music and you love playing music in
mm-hmm.
any way that you can.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that representation in a way to like, it's a representation of something that you really love.
I think the fun part about it is the idea of it's just a mangaka with a really fun hobby and they want to express it in a way.
Yeah.
They love fishing. And I want to show the people that fishing is fun or can be fun.
Yeah.
So let's just have some cute girls just having fun going fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Or have some cute girls playing ping pong. Fuck it,
Yeah.
Or playing music or looking at rocks. Fuck it, dude. It's that part of there's a part of me that just sees just some guy or girl just really enjoying this one hobby and they want to express it.
Right.
They want to be like, this is I trust me. Looking at rocks is cool. Let me show you.
That is really cool. Not looking at rocks, just that whole idea.
You don't know that though. You haven't watched the anime.
I did.
Looking at stars and shit.
I did used to collect rocks when I was younger because they're really fascinating. But
they're pretty fascinating.
the idea of watching someone do something that you love doing and watching them love it too,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that kind of stuff is just such a rewarding feeling, because it's like, it's like spreading the wealth in a way, like me bringing all my friends rock climbing and all of that kind of stuff. Like, that's just me kind of bringing people into something that I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And, if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. And it's really cool that there's shows that are out there that are basically writing a love letter to music as a hobby and as a passion.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can do whatever you want with it. And, Your Lie in April inspired you to get into piano, and, Bocchi the Rock got you into playing guitar again. And
Mm-hmm.
Your Lie in April is why I got back into piano, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that idea of getting inspiration from different places. And, oh my gosh, dude, there are still songs on guitar that I remember that you taught me when we were in our guitar class, because you were taking guitar lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, you and I would sit in like the back corner of the room, and we would just kind of dick around and do something entirely different from what
Yeah.
the rest of the class was
Well,
doing.
to be fair, it wasn't. I felt, looking back, I feel really bad because it sounds like a really pretentious thing to do. But also, it was just, I mean, there's no point in working on what everybody else is working on because I already knew it.
Yeah, they're
So-
like, here's a C major chord.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, I use my electric and stuff, but it's not like we amped it or anything. So we're basically just silent,
Yeah.
for the most part, and just kind of dicking around.
Yeah, I mean, I had my blue.
Actually, no. I guess I did have I had my acoustic, but then once I joined jazz band, I just had my electric because it was just there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. So,
But yeah, it is kind of funny that, there are songs that you taught me like 10 years ago that I still remember on guitar.
well, I don't remember them. Wait, maybe I do. I don't know. I just gotta play them. But yeah, oh man, we got to figure out that Crunchyroll thing so you can watch Bocchi the Rock.
I know. I forgot to get all your login info into Crunchyroll before.
So what do they tell you? What is it? What happens? Is it connection error
Nothing.
or nothing?
Nothing.
So what do you mean nothing?
I mean, I click on a show and then it goes black.
And it goes black. But you're logged in,
Yeah.
and it goes black.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Have you tried on your phone?
No, I have not.
Okay. We could try that. I bet it's hardware accelerations or something acting up again.
Fucking weird.
Fucking weird. I don't know. Technology and shit. Oh, speaking of technology, I built a computer again.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I built a computer for my buddy Eric. Shout out Eric. I'll probably have him on the podcast sometime. And remember, right? Eric Mingus?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I went over, built him a computer. He hits me up and he goes, "Hey, Arthur, I want to build a computer. I'm tired of my laptop." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that'll come." Like, "Oh, what's your budget?" "Oh, like $1,800." And I'm like, "Oh."
What?
Oh shit. I don't know where that came from, but sure. And $1,800 is a fine budget. Way more than fine. So I was happy to oblige. And I was really happy with what I could do because it's been so long since I parted out and built a computer. So I had a lot.
Oh god, wasn't it like Jackson's computer or something like that?
Technically, yes. I mean, I did part out, computers for people who asked for it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like building a computer, yeah, it would have been Jackson's computer. And I didn't even really build it. I just kind of, just helped Jackson. I did the same thing with Eric. I just kind of helped him and told him what to do. And it was a lot of fun. It was a great time. We're just at his house, and he kind of moved to a different house with another friend. Grand old time. But I was able to get some really fun parts. I was able to go into like next generation things, which usually I don't, because right now we're in DDR5 RAM. I know this is going to sound really nerdy, but DDR5 RAM and new Intel platforms and stuff, where you basically, if you're going to upgrade to this point, you can't just upgrade to it. You got to scrap the whole damn computer because we've reached points of new, like, things, I guess.
Yeah,
for a better way to say it, because we've been sitting on DDR4 for God knows how long now, and it's finally time to change. And I don't want change because DDR4 was nice.
So basically, it's a compatibility thing for those of you who are a little bit confused. So,
it's okay. I had one earlier too, but you
Yeah.
didn't say anything. But you had one and I said something, so I feel bad.
yeah, fuck you. So basically, it's a compatibility issue. So like the motherboard needs to be compatible with all of the things that go on it. And so basically when you upgrade to a newer version, so like DDR4, DDR3 RAM, basically your motherboard needs to be compatible with it, and then the little processor, little CPU guy, little brain, also has to be compatible with everything. So basically, you go from, like, for you to be able to upgrade, you would need to get all of those things replaced, which sucks.
Imagine a toaster. You can only put bread in there.
Right.
But you can't put your toaster in the bathtub. Because that would be bad.
Because it's not waterproof.
So you get a waterproof toaster that you can put in the bathtub. But you can't put toast in it anymore. Because it's sealed off. Essentially that. I know, that sounds fucking weird. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed building that computer again. I was pretty happy with my build. Honestly, I was worried because I haven't touched DDR5. I've been pretty out of the game, actually, with tech. I know PCs have technically been my thing. I've been doing keyboards a lot recently, but computers forever will be like my thing. However, I've been kind of slacking with the new AMD and Intel generation, 13th gen Intel and AMD 7000, I think, and the new NVIDIA stuff and DDR5 RAM specifically, because it's just a whole new thing with whole new numbers and whole new technology. So I've been out of the loop, and I need to sit down and watch some Gamers Nexus videos and nerd myself out again. But it's a lot of work, and it's a lot to understand and a lot to just figure out. But I had a lot of fun trying to pick out some good DDR5 RAM that, even though all these numbers meant fuck all nothing to me, I had to try and compartmentalize these numbers into tangible things in my brain, and it was a lot of fun. And we went with a solid build, and so he has a knocking $1,800 computer to play League.
Fuck yeah, man.
To cap out at 250 frames.
250? Fuck.
Which for League is not that bad. Which is its cap, I'm pretty sure. I think it's its hard cap.
That's a lot of frames.
Yeah, League isn't really, the most demanding game.
Yeah.
But at max the fuck settings, it's pretty cool to see that at 250 frames. No matter what, just seeing high frame rates is fun. And just it not dipping down. It will not go down. It will stay at 250 and it's locked there. No matter how many particles enter the screen. It's just fantastic.
That's awesome.
So I'm glad. And all we did was use a 3080. You know how much we spent? How much we spent on that 3080, Zach? Did I tell you?
No.
$600.
Oh.
For a 3080.
That is not bad.
You know how much they retailed for? $800.
Oh.
I think, or $700. I'm pretty sure it was $799. You know how much it cost 1 year ago?
Like $1,400.
Yes. So when I say, listen, I know we're about to end here, but the 40 series, I don't know if we are, but the 40 series cards, right? The new NVIDIA stuff, and I guess the new AMD stuff as well. I haven't looked at them too much again. I've been kind of out of the loop, but I have seen the new NVIDIA stuff, and they're very cool. Their new 40 series, they have DLSS 3 or DLS 3, whatever they want to call it, where essentially, do you know what DLSS is?
Mm-mm.
So it's an AI technology thing. Right now, at the moment, DLS 2, I would assume, I think is what it was, if we're at 3 now. What it does is it dynamically scales your resolution depending on what you're doing. Like, for example, you're playing COD.
Yeah.
You turn on DLSS, DLSS, right? And certain, and there's different settings, but let's just say just turn it on, right? When you're whipping your mouse, it does not need to be the best quality.
Right.
So it's gonna knock that quality down. When you're static, it will retain the quality. So it's just dynamically adjusting the quality, so that way you get the most frame rate. And it actually works really well, and I recommend enabling it if it has it, because it will 90% of the time will work. It's awesome. And then NVIDIA, I don't know how much you know, but they've been working on AI a lot. They're super into it. And they launched DLSS 3 with their new 40 series cards, and basically they're just recreating frames out of thin air.
That's wild.
And at least to what we've seen, right? To what we've seen with testing-ish, right? It actually works. Like,
that's
really
so crazy.
Really, and you see like 200%, 300% in performance boosts and shit. Because they're just creating frames out of thin air. You have one frame, and you have one frame, and they just make a frame in between. Which sounds like frame interpolation because it is, but it's not quite. I mean, it is that, but it doesn't look like, because we all have seen we've seen warping. We know what warping looks like. You know, it's not that. For some reason, they're creating a brand new frame, and maybe it's like if they decide like, and you know, it happening in milliseconds, nanoseconds, right? A frame is created. They realize it looks too smeary or something. They say they reject it, but one comes in and it looks good. Keep it. I don't know. This is a guess, but the technology is fascinating. However, it's locked to the 40 series cards.
That makes my brain hurt.
Yes. So this makes me really sad because this technology is awesome and it could 100% just work with the 30 series cards because the 30 series cards are still powerful. The 40 series cards are also very powerful, but the 30 series cards are also very powerful. So I'm like, fuck. What we think is going to happen, because they did this with, I think, some RTX things. I can't remember what they were. What we think is going to happen is at some point they'll push it to 30 series cards.
Yeah.
Which would be awesome because I don't have to drop my 3080 Ti that I spent a lot of money for. So, you know, that would be sick because I don't want to sell it for net 40%.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's going to turn into me just buying your old graphics cards when you buy new graphics cards because I bought your 2080 off you.
It could work. But it's fascinating technology. But we decided not to go for it because it's expensive. The 40 series cards right now are indeed almost basically on paper and in testing 2 times faster than the 30 series cards. Double the speed, essentially.
2 times faster.
Basically. I'm being serious. Like, you can see the charts of reviewers. It's basically double the performance. It's like magic. But
that's fucking gnarly.
They're more expensive than normal MSRP rates, which is a good thing because otherwise what we saw with the 30 series would happen, right? So that's a good thing in a way. But what that did was make the 30 series cards much cheaper in eBay. And now we're seeing the 3080s for $300, or sorry, $300, $600, $700, 3070s for less than $500. And it's like, holy shit. You can buy a 3090 for like $1,000 ish.
Those
right?
They were like $3,000.
15, well, yeah, $3,000.
Yes,
the MSR for $1,500.
Yeah.
And I think everybody forgot, and this happens every 2 years when a new graphics cards come out. Mm-hmm. Everybody forgot because of how powerful the new cards are. That the 30 series cards were a big jump from 20 to 30, like incredibly big. The 3080 was just about, if not more powerful than a 2080 Ti, which was the top of the line card. Like, I think people forgot about that. So if you can get a card better than the 2080 Ti, which was the top of the line card, for $600, which was under how much it went for.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, I know the 40 series cards are great, but you can't forget how good these cards, the 30 series cards, are. And people said the same thing for the 20 series cards, and I kind of agree, but I think we reached for the 20 series, leading up to the 20 series, we reached this kind of diminishing return things. And it wasn't until, I know I'm saying a bunch of numbers, it doesn't make no sense, but it wasn't from the 20 to 30 that we finally saw like a really big jump.
Right.
So that made it actually worth upgrading if you had like a 900 or a 90 card, or a 9 card or a 10 card or a 20 card. Finally, it was worth it. So people did that. So now we've reached a point where we basically just restarted that cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. At some point, that's how it works. Game developers are going to leverage the new tech for sure, right? That's how that works, and they should do that to improve.
Right.
But I think you can sit on a 30 card for a while. Honestly,
I still have a 28.
you still have a 28. Yeah, I know, and that's fine. It's all good.
I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't really see a point in upgrading because I'm not like the stuff that I'm using my computer for mostly is like photo and video editing.
Right.
And the amount of power that I have right now is pretty sufficient for what I'm doing. And also the gaming that I do is pretty all right. Like, I'm not playing, AAA games
Yeah,
or
yeah.
anything like that.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you
Use
go.
case. Yeah.
Why we gotta start that again, man?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just happy. I'm happy to be doing computers again. It was great.
Well, dude, I would definitely be down to do a PC build or something with you, or film another one. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've talked about finally doing my NAS. I need to do that now that I have my hard drives. So
yeah.
that'll definitely happen. I don't know how much I want to record it because I literally know nothing. So that would literally be me just like, I don't know what I would record. It would just be me learning. We would have to do somebody's session. But yeah,
I mean, I'm sure that we'll be able to figure it out.
we'll figure
so.
it. Well, we just got to shoot something.
Yeah.
We just need to shoot something.
But
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for listening. I appreciate it. You know, we got links to all of our socials down below, and let us know what you guys are thinking about doing for your New Year's resolutions.
New
and
Year's
all.
resolution. Yeah. Have you quit the gym yet?
Damn it. So we got some links or some videos popping up. So obviously this one's gonna be the YouTube recommended one, and this one is going to be, let's do the Christian Cha episode, the second one, the most recent one. Yeah, that sounds really nice. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night. Time zones are weird. I love your face. Arthur, have anything to say?
No, I don't. Have some fun. Watch Bocchi the Rock. Okay, goodbye, everybody.
All right. Peace. Wow.